Welcome to SKS Media. Our special guest today is Ranjan Dahal. He has had a tech career of more than 10 plus years. I am super excited personally to learn more about it. That said, Ranjan Bhai,
Yep.
are you excited?
Yeah, super excited. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
So the way we start our podcast is extremely simple. First, we just give a quick background to the viewers who might not know you.
Okay. Absolutely.
So,
All right. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ranjan Dahal. I'm going to start with the US journey. I came to the US back in 2009 as an international student, and I went to his college, worked for a couple of companies before I joined the military back in 2013 until 2016 as a Apache helicopter electrical and armament technician. And then I realized that military career is not for me. So I came back, went to college and joined Wayfair as a database administrator. And ever since I've been at Wayfair, currently working as a staff engineer, and I'm planning to transition from Wayfair to a different company. That's about me in a very short period.
Ranjan Bhai, I know we've known each other for a bit. तर तपाईँ मिलिट्रीमा थियो मलाई थाहै थिएन त. I mean US Army मा पनि जानुभएको थियो भनेर.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
long and interesting story. We'll probably dig deep into that during our podcast. But yes.
Wow. Okay. So US मा हजुर 2009 मा आउनुभयो. But let's actually start before US in Nepal. So where did you grow up in Nepal and how is it like? Alikati quick snapshot.
Absolutely. So I grew up in Hetauda city, and not city but a village of like nearby Hetauda, and just like any lower middle class family, came from there. My dad was a principal who founded a school in a different village, and mom, typical housewife, 4 siblings including myself. I'm the youngest one.
Wow.
And loved sports, loved hands-on stuff like building things, hanging out with friends, very competitive in sports. That's pretty much about me. Nothing interesting, just like any other people. Very simple and normal guy.
And you're still into sports, cricket?
Yes, I
So
do.
11, 12 चाहिँ तपाईँले हेटौडामै गर्नुभएको थियो कि or हेटौडामै गर्नुभएको थियो?
Yes.
So what was that journey from there to thinking कि okay, I want to go to US भनेर?
Absolutely. So there's always an inspiration behind every person, right? So all my schooling was in Hetauda, including normal school time, high school and everything, all government school. And the inspiration I got from one of my close relative, or I don't know exactly how to explain that because my mom tells me all of them are relative. So one of the Dai called Savin Gautam Dai from my village, who actually came to the US. He was the first one to come to the US from that village. And I don't know if he knows or not. Maybe he'll know after seeing this podcast or watching it. But he was the inspiration for me and many other people within the village. And he made it like a dream for us to come to US. All those fancy things that you watch movies, tall buildings, spy movies, technological innovation, all that fancy computer stuff, right? And that kind of inspired me to apply for US, and I took that as a goal for me to complete it, and I was lucky enough to come here.
Like at what moment were you inspired? Because I think abroad जाने बेलामा पनि, and I spoke with all the other guests as well about this.
Yeah.
There's so many different places you can go. Australia जानु भयो, Europe जानु भयो, US भयो. But clearly it seems like हजुरको दाइले गर्दाखेरि it was more US. तर when exactly did it hit you कि wow, I want to go to US and US is the place and not other places that I want to go to?
Very good question, right? So he inspired, right? And there are so many other things, small things that actually paved the path for me to come here. I didn't see computer until I was in grade 11 or 12. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's when I was able to first touch the computer. And ever since I touched it, I was fascinated by the possibility. And also you watch all the movies, all the possibility, Google, Yahoo, all that thing. And all of those companies are from the US. A lot of incredible things, technological innovations, either in the field of physics, chemistry, and all that thing. Everyone talks about the US. And you know what? You definitely want to go to the best country in the world, if you're really into it, right? And that was the other things, right? And also, like, the brother that I just mentioned also went to US. Maybe I should also go there. And I had no idea about other countries, Australia, because I didn't know anyone who actually went there during that time.
Wow.
And it was back in 2009. And you try to follow what other people have done around you. And that was a pretty much the motivation behind it.
And what was the process like? Okay, now at this point, you want to go to US. So what did that process look like until you got to US?
So process was pretty ruthless from my standard, because I'm a person who doesn't like to go out. I'm a homeboy, always staying in the home, finishing up school, come back home, not like going out, right? Not hanging out, not socializing that much. But it really forced me to go out to Kathmandu for the education, like IELTS, TOEFL, and bunch of things. Interesting that I failed my TOEFL exam.
Really?
First one. I still not good at English, to be being very honest about it. And over time, I'm still learning it.
Nice being super humble right now. But anyways.
No, seriously, I still have trouble when it comes to communicating my thought process and trying to persuade people. My accent, not good from my standard. I don't know about the others. But yes, went to the Kathmandu, failed one exam or a couple of exams, and then I had to come back to Hetauda. My mom actually sold her jewelry. Maybe so many people have a similar story.
Wow.
To give me more fun so that I can go for IELTS, IELTS. And I ended up passing that and got lucky that my first interview went through it.
Yeah.
And in no time, I came to US.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you'll say a little bit more personal question, right? Because you mentioned at that time there wasn't a lot of people that went to US. So when you found out that okay, you're going to US, how did you and your family react?
Yeah, my dad wasn't a big fan of it because, again, middle lower class, you don't have enough capital, right, to actually send someone to the US. And in the Nepal ecosystem, there's not a concept of loan when it comes to those things. You really have to put your land or house or something. My dad actually ended up selling the house to raise the capital for me. It was not necessary, but he did it anyway. And I'm fortunate that he did that for me. Otherwise, the entire trajectory of our family, the financial stature and all that would have been a completely different situation. But yes, mom was very supportive. Whatever you want to do, go for it. My siblings, again, every siblings have their own kind of relationship, right? Either very close or not. My two elder sister already married, so not a lot of feedback. My elder brother, relatively okay in terms of education and all that, more into music and all. Myself, consider a little bit padaku, everyone calls that. A little bit, not a lot. So yeah, mom supported it. My brother definitely, he supported. Any process, he would go and then make it happen. Either I have to travel because I couldn't travel alone because I was not confident enough to do that. My dad, he provided capital. Beyond that, nothing else. So yeah, that's how my family supported me.
Wow.
So
you decided you're coming to US and US when you're boy, right? So
yes.
What was the first place you landed in?
Absolutely. Yeah. Interesting thing that, I tried to be over smart during my first day. When you book a ticket, right? The flight ticket, all the times are in a local time zone.
Local as in?
As a landing,
okay,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't know that. So I overdid the math and told my university that I'll be landing based on the conversion and all that, which ended up their pickup time was completely off because of that reason. So I had to spend my entire night at the airport, wait for them. I probably spent 12 hours.
And where was this?
St. Louis.
St. Louis,
Missouri. Yeah. So Southeast Missouri State University was my university. I went there. St. Louis was my first airport. I guess second. Chicago was one. I missed my flight. I had to wait a couple more hours to get to another flight. Luckily, I didn't have to pay extra, which is, I was surprised. If you miss a bus in Nepal, you have to pay more, right?
Yeah.
to get to another bus. Here, you didn't have to pay. And yeah, and after that, I had to live in a motel for one night, and I cried actually, which I don't know whether I should say that or not. Away from home, no family members, no friends, um, and मैले त्यो I guess admit गर्नुपर्छ. First day, very hungry. They had a breakfast. I ended up eating something that I should not have, like the meat thing,
Oh.
which again, unknowingly, I'm pretty sure a lot of people had actually gone through the same thing. But yeah, cried, motel.
Actually, like quick. I'm curious. So how did that end up happening?
So motel, right? You're hungry. You're like waited in the airport for 12 plus hours, and you're very afraid to even buy something. First, you don't want to spend the money because you value the money, every dollar that counts.
Plus like conversion.
Your brain works with the conversion and everything. Second, I'm still surviving, right? I'm not like dying. Water is also something that you can survive. And the motel was providing free breakfast. So you know what? Let's get on it. You see eggs, you see meat, and all that thing with I think sausage or something, and didn't know that it was that. But yeah, that's the whole story that I ended up eating it.
Sausage butter.
Exactly. Yeah.
For the viewers, that meat one, beef.
Yes.
Beef.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, so त्यहाँबाट भन्ने.
So त्यहाँबाट yes, अब त्यसपछि त अब युनिभर्सिटीमा गइहाल्यो हैन. अनि I had to stay in the dormitory, pay hefty price for that. Typically, you stay outside to save money. We had to like again get some meal plan. We went for the cheapest one so that we don't spend too much money. We didn't have a job. Everyone's focus is go to college, get a job, have enough capital to survive, pay your rent, pay your food. Don't spend too much, right? Think about the next semester and all.
So I guess before we even touch up a little bit more on school, let's talk about Azuko first impressions on US, because this is the first time you went to or landed in US, right? So Missouri-ma पुग्नु भइसकेपछि, what were like the first impressions you had? Maybe expectations versus reality, some big culture shocks, यस्तै कुराहरु.
Yeah. So Chicago, it's a big city, right?
Okay.
Big, one of the biggest airport, I believe, right? A lot of like planes coming around. Huge airport. I was shocked to see the infrastructure. You just seeing them in the TV, right? In the movies, seeing in person was very overwhelming for me. Very fast paced. People are moving around and all, just like in Kathmandu, right? I'm not a big fan of city, to be honest with you. And I don't know. I like very calm and environment. Not a lot of noise. That's how I don't know how, but that's the preference that I have. Right. Typically, that's why I don't go to like other things. So sticking with the topic, right? Very overwhelming. Big buildings, bigger planes, so many people walking around. Announcements going around, security check. I didn't even know what to do. Should I raise my hand and all that? But very impressed with all the innovation and infrastructure that the US has. Very systematic, very clean. It's not like that in Nepal, right? A lot of things to learn, a lot of things to appreciate. So I guess that's the kind of like overall, maybe I've been here too long that I'm not remembering a lot of things, but very positive thinking towards it and completely different perspective on all the things, infrastructure, technology, innovation, the people, their behavior, being very polite, everything is systematic from the security standpoint. You can really game the system and all that things.
Wow. Yeah. So त्यहाँबाट तपाई school पनि पुग्नु भयो Missouri-मा, right? So let's actually talk a little, like dig in a little bit more on school life. Sure. So I know that अब त तपाई techमा हुनुहुन्छ, so you've been in tech for a while, right?
Yeah.
So schoolमा चाहिँ when you decide you wanted to get into computers, or what did that journey look like सुरुदेखि नै?
So it starts from like back in home, right? Hetauda. Again, the inspiration was movies and all that, spy, sci-fi, CIA, FBI, all that kind of stuff. And when I got my hand on the computer for the first time at the high school, I forced my parents to buy me a computer. I didn't eat for 3 days. Well, I ate something like bread and all, but I pretended that I didn't eat the dinner, the typical normal household dinner. And my grandmother actually was kind enough to give me the money. It was big money at that point, 35,000 rupees. Huge money for my family. And she bought me a computer. I started using it. I broke it probably 10 times. I built it back up again, doing a lot of, upgraded. Again, nothing unique, but
Right.
that's what I did. And that really got me into the computer stuff, building software, and I was doing well in the computer science. I was a good student of mathematics,
High school ko कुरा यो.
high school and school
High school
also.
ma पनि,
Yeah, there's a moment I do want to go back actually. I was not a good student before. When I was in school, the same school that my dad founded, and I became a second boy. And you can imagine, you're a second boy, everyone respects you, give you that respect, and you get all the prizes, right? All the copies, all the books, and
Second boy भन्नाले तपाईले
second in the class.
second in the class.
That's how
Okay,
they
yeah,
used to characterize. Second boy, second girl, first boy, second. And actually, my dad changed my school. So all the fame that I was supposed to get
right.
next year, then all gone. My roll number was 123 in new school, and that really depressed me at one point because I already had that fame. I already worked hard for that, and he again pushed me to a new school. And after a couple of years, it took me a couple of years to get to a point where I got my rhythm back, and it happened because of one of the individual, Suman Gimiredai in my village, very good at math, very good at explaining things, and he really got into it, and he made me his wingman in a good way in the education sector. I was helping him. Very good at math in a reasonable way, and I became again second boy of that bigger school. And in school too, like high school, after that, friends used to give me a nickname, a derivative. I don't know if you have taken a mathematics in high school.
Right.
There's a derivative and integration in calculus. So they used to give me a name of derivative because I was good at math.
It's like a nickname derivative.
My friends and my professor actually gave me that. Now I forgot everything, right? I could do that mathematics in my head, and computer science. Those are very interrelated.
Wow.
And there is no verified data, but based on the district result, I think I was probably highest scorer in computer science at that year. And even though it was or not, someone told me that I was, and that's the motivation you want to look for, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing well. I should continue with this. And that's the motivation factor for me to continue to pursue computer science and see where it's going to take me. And all the big companies like Google, Facebook, Yahoo, and all that, all coming from US. You know what? I could be that guy who will be working for this company. Never thought of doing a startup or anything like that, but that's the motivation for me to get into it.
Also cool because usually of the same company, for example, यता आइसकेपछि मात्र के गरौँ कस्तो गरौँ, but then you already knew that high school देखि नै I think this is the path you wanted to go, you know. But when you found out that you were district K, one of the best, how did you feel, Pratibala?
I felt good, but at the same time, right, these are just imaginary number or position or whatever that people are giving out, and it's also not verified. I mean, someone telling me was good enough for me to motivate. Oftentimes, even the fake motivation is better than not having no motivation, right? I learned that in the military, and we can talk about it later on. But that really changed the trajectory of my career, my academic path, and all that, right? So it was a positive change. It was not a negative change. Oftentimes, people get demotivated, you're the last one in the class, right? Even though you have the capacity to do well, right? The energy to do well. Positive and negative words do matter, and in that case, it worked out well in my favor. Wow. And then a lot of the things that is happening right now is because of that.
So let's talk about school. At this point, you want to work for a big company.
Yep.
You're amazing in computer science. So undergrads, school life.
So school life, yeah. Again, back to the school life. You take a general course, and then you have electives and all that. Mathematics again came in. I was good at calculus, and one of my professor actually saw that, and she wanted me to take to math competition. There's a math competition at the national level. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it because I only spent one semester there. So I was, I'm sorry? Missouri, yeah. But to competition, there's a math organization. I forgot the name of it. It's been a like long time. But I was decent enough that she offered me, do you want to participate? We'll pay for it. We'll probably cover your tuition and all that.
Wow.
But that was not good enough for me. All the courses, right? I was very focused on the academics because, you know, that was the goal. That was a dream for me to come here and go to school, right? And learn all the time. And I would consider myself a good student, disciplined, focus on the goal, and trying to, you know, achieve it. And it worked out in my favor overall. And again, don't want to get into or fantasize all the GPA. It was good.
Good.
Yes, I'll put that way. And like I mentioned, so many students from Nepal, India, and so many other countries, they're very hardworking. They focus on that. One thing I have to admit, though, you know, book smart is not enough here, right? I was probably book smart, but there are so many things I was lacking. And I got to realize as I worked and then went through several phases of my life. But at that point during the school, it was pretty good.
So before we keep moving on, let's dig a little bit deeper. Just when you said, "Hey, just being book smart isn't enough,"
Yeah.
because man said, "So, hey, what does he mean by it?" Right?
Yeah.
So people should know.
Absolutely. I mean, getting like A or A plus, whatever the grading system is, not enough. There are far more things that people need to learn. The power of persuasion, right? And working as a team member, whether you're in the class environment or you're in a work environment or in society or in a family, having that arrogance that I'm the smartest one also not going to work. So again, if you're a smart guy, it's okay. There are far more important things that you need to be good at. That's what I mean. More like a soft skill kind of side of things, because ultimately no one want to work with or collaborate with someone who is smart but don't respect other people. And I'm going to have to admit quite a bit of ego early phase of my career. As I'm learning and progressing, you know, I believe I'm getting better at it, but again, still there are a lot of big room for improvements. So that's what I mean. If you're good at grade, you know the material, you're at the top of the class, that's not enough. You need to be respectful, be able to work with your classmate, because oftentimes you get a project work.
Right.
And I should do everything on my own. Programming project, computer project, piece of cake, go do it. Everyone else is sitting there doing nothing. And I realized that that's not the way to do it. Rather, divide the work, provide an opportunity for everyone to grow, and make sure that they're also learning along the line. You being only successful is not enough. Your team has to be successful, right? And that's kind of skill set that I was lacking at that point.
So, what made you realize that that's how it should be and not the other way around?
It's mostly when I got into the military and as I worked in the corporate world, a lot of the things, the progress that I was supposed to, or I was expecting as in terms of promotion, raise and all that, those elements became a bottleneck for me, right? So it hasn't been that long that I realized it, but once I realized it, I always think about it. And this is the path forward for me if I really want to elevate or grow in my career, in my society, in my family. You have to be very mindful of other people, right? Everyone's not going to be a superstar. Everyone's not going to know everything. Be respectful, give them space, and have some empathy. Yeah, those sort of things. And it's not that long that I have realized those things.
Wow. Yeah. So all these things are really military, corporate world, we see that's when you learned, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about the transition from school life to also undergrad sports. When you did masters and everything, right?
Yes.
So I guess let's move on from undergrads to slowly going towards where you are now.
Sure.
We still have to dig the military part. I'm super interested.
Yeah. Can I share one very interesting story that a lot of people can relate to? Something happened as a cultural shock you mentioned, right? So early school, I'm going to try to be very quick so that I'm not
No, take time.
Yeah. Okay. So
Please take time to watch this.
so the thing is, right, I know a lot of people from Nepal or different countries, right? They don't understand, like, I didn't know anything about the system here. The college system, the law enforcement and all that, always joking around with friends and all that. And when I was in the Missouri in the dormitory, right, all friends always joking around, I'm going to kill you, all that. Pretty common, right? Even though you're saying it as a joke. And I did something stupid. I was looking to call some of my friends. We were in the room, and I called them, with a different voice. Hey, with some threatening messages.
Nepali line nahi, non-Nepali.
Nepali lai. I was hoping that it's going to go to their room, but ended up going to a different room. That's the twist here, right? Because the number was confusing, like 2253 or 35, something like that. And I dialed the wrong number. It went to a lady, American lady, who complained to the office, university police, and they were hunting after me and my roommate because they could see my face in the camera during that time. And I was at the computer lab. My friend was sleeping in the room, and police knocked on the door. And he actually directed them to the computer lab, and we both were talking, and I tried to explain that I was trying to call my friend. We just joke around, very broken English, not very clear, very nervous.
Timeline ko लागि चाहिँ तपाई कुन year थियो यो?
Same year, 2009 in Missouri. First
semester.
Yes.
Ani.
Like, I think probably 2 weeks down the road, like down the line after I started college and all. And police said, they called the number, the real number, and one of our friends actually picked it up. He didn't understand the English well because everyone is the same board. And he kind of like agreed to my story that I was explaining to him. But I was sent to the dean office to give some, like, they call it like safai or something, like some sort of statement of clarification that what was it, and I had to write an essay on how it happened. I'm not going to do it again, otherwise I'll be expelled or probably kicked out of the country.
Wow.
And that was a big learning lesson for me, to be very careful about everything you do here in the US. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there, right, will just come to the US, joke around with their friends, even fight with each other, right? Those things are not tolerable here, right? You really have to follow the law and then whatever the policy they have put in place. So it's just a message for people out there who are probably not going to do something stupid like I did. And then, yeah, maybe we can jump into the other topic you mentioned.
Oh no, that's actually so true, because you're not really aware. Nepal one small mistake can lead to such a big consequences. Eh?
Exactly.
Wow. On freshman year, like it. But anyways, so I'm taking school life and after undergrads, what happened?
So yeah, finished my first semester there, came to US. After that, I went to Quincy College, just like many other
Boston.
people. Yeah,
Boston.
Which is a community college, plus 2 years, do my computer science. And I took up OPT or CPT, I think OPT maybe, which you can take after associate degree in computer science. And I worked for a couple of companies during that time. And I was like exploring what's the next step for me. And Northeastern has a program called CPS, College of Professional Studies, which is the cheapest one, and also the night class, because during the time you typically work and all that, right? Even though a lot of other things there. And they also had a program called MAVNI, Military Accessions to the Vital National, MAV, Military Accessions, MAV, Vital to the National Interest, which is from the federal government, during the President Obama period, where foreign national could join the military based on their academic background and also the language skill that they have, because US military were all over the place in the world, Afghanistan, Iraq, Jordan, many other places like Korea, all that. And I was casually applying for that process, and within like 2 weeks, everything got completed. And I was in a shock. Should I join the military? Because everyone has a mindset, right? Whenever you talk about military, you talk about carrying guns, kicking on the door, killing people, and all that. And I didn't know that I could pick a job which can be quite fascinating, like fixing or working the Apache helicopter. I don't know if how many you're aware of Apache helicopter is the most advanced helicopter, which is attack helicopter and reconnaissance helicopter.
Oh wow.
Less with a lot of technological stuff like radar, gun, pilot, wherever they move their head, the gun also moves, just like in a video game. And rockets, hellfire, missiles, a lot of stuff there, and it's kind of cool. That's what I really wanted to do because that's the like movies I watched, like spy movies, sci-fi movie, and all that. And overall, it was worth it. So yeah, after the college, finished up the college, worked for a company, couple of companies, joined the military. That's the journey I actually went through.
So military ko barema kura गर्ने अगाडि,
Sure.
I think a lot of international students, what they go through is getting a job or internship is so hard, So I was really working for different companies. I'm like, oh wow. So what's like the secret sauce behind this?
So I think everything is like connected, right? If you're a good student, you're helping your classmates. I was lucky that in Quincy College, it was a very, very small college, very competitive. After first semester, my professor actually put me as a professional tutor for computer science because I was decently good at it. I'm not going to claim I was super good at it. And I was working for the college, helping so many students. And among one of the students who I helped actually got the job in the company that I ended up joining.
Wow.
And both of my jobs, I mean, 3 of my jobs, all of them through those connections. And I was not good at socially, but since I helped them, right, they basically did me a favor, and that really worked out in my favor. So yeah, decent student, tutor, you help so many people with a good intent, not because you get paid, but you really want them to do well in class, help them with the complex assignments so that they can get a good grade. And that actually, do good karma, do good things happen to you kind of thing. And that individual actually helped me to get 2 jobs.
Wow.
Same individuals. Yeah.
Wow. This is eh?
Yeah.
But since we're already talking about school, before we move on, let's talk about your best moment and most challenging moment in school life, Maze.
Yeah. So best moment definitely. Every school I went to, right, professor providing me the opportunity, even though I was not asking for it. Because oftentimes, like I mentioned, I'm not socially good. I'm not good at connecting with people. I don't know how to start a conversation, to be honest. That's why I try to avoid all the social events. I don't know how to operate.
It's hard to believe.
I know, that's why you don't see me in social media and so many events out there, especially the social events, unless there is a clear sense of attachment from my side. If it's a sports event, I love it. If it's someone helping them out or whatever, but it's just a casual social event, I don't join it. But got lucky that on both university or college I joined, they actually approached me, would you be someone who wants to be a tutor or help in the computer lab or something? And you know what, maybe they're seeing something in me and I should continue to do well in school, help my classmates, and basically did the same thing in both colleges and ended up being a tutor. And that's what it is.
That was your best moment?
Yeah, and even though you're not asking for it, someone is approaching you with that offer I was not expecting. Maybe I'm probably doing something right here. And that was the best moment for me because I was not expecting it.
Was it? Wow. What about the most challenging?
Challenging one, maybe I should talk about it, not. So I try to hold very high standard for when it comes to integrity. And we're going to talk about some of the military values and all that when you get there. But when I was in college, right, you are constrained by financial stuff. You're constrained by your willingness to help your fellow classmate. whether, like, even though knowing that some of things are not right, I was helping some of my friends with their assignments. And the plagiarism is a big thing here.
It is.
Right? I should not have been doing that. Right? It's their assignment. They are supposed to complete it. I know so many people do that. And a lot of my assignment artifacts is still being passed around in different university, especially in UMass, as a reference for a lot of the assignment out there.
Wow.
And I kind of realized that I'm basically depriving them of the opportunity to work hard, trying to come up with their own solution. And I did that for multiple students as a means of generating some revenue because it was a need for me. But now when I look back, I shouldn't have done that because, like I mentioned, right, I'm depriving them from the opportunity of learning something, working hard, and trying to come up with a solution. So that was the challenge. And at one point, one of the professors actually identified that some of the solution, the programming solution, was done in my laptop. Because whatever you store, your user account, your name, right? Typically put your laptop name as your name. And then that also creates different folders. And when you try to run the solution, it actually copies over. And the professor actually reached out to me. And I had to apologize. And I don't know what happened to the student, but that was the worst thing that I still remember. And I try not to do it again.
Wow, which is the last month professor has it happened.
Yeah, I mean, when you use technology, there's always, you're leaving your trail somewhere, right? And people can figure it out. And that professor was one of my idol, very good at programming, software development. And then I admired him so much. And I think a lot of the credit also goes to him, whatever I am today because of him, his teaching. His name was Dr. Robert Pitts. Very smart guy. Didn't really care about money, fame, anything like that. He was very good at explaining things, a lot of the fundamentals. You could be a celebrity professor, you could be like, has a very big name, you're going and talking, but you may not have the ability to explain things in such a way that it just stuck with the students. So he has that, and I respect him, and unfortunately he was the one who actually caught it. So I was very ashamed of it.
Wow. So US life was starting, US Army ko kura garu.
Yep. So Army, like I mentioned, right, we're just joking around. Another, like, I call him brother, very close friend of mine. We applied together. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him, but it did work out for me. And it's a big change for me. But I was mentally prepared. I was watching, I don't know if that show is still there in Netflix. There's a show called Survival the Cut. It's a Navy SEAL training, how they do it, how they train you. And I was well prepared, jogging around, eating good, healthy food before I went there. And one interesting story, remember that Boston bombing that happened back in 2013 during Boston Marathon?
So I have heard of it. Just to research, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so whenever it happened, the next day, I was going or traveling to the basic training. And there was a rumor that some international student did it, right? And the FBIs were all over the airport because that's the first thing people do, right? They try to, fly out of the city so that no one can catch it. And one of the FBIs actually interviewed me during that time.
No way.
You're an international student. What college or university you go to? And I had joined Northeastern already during that time, but never actually started my college.
Timeline, when was this?
2013.
2013. Yeah, literally right after the bombing happened.
The next day when the bombing happened. And he was interviewing me and all that. I told him, I'm going for a basic training, joining the military. And he let me go with all my contacts, my friends' contact. I don't know if they reached out to my friends or not. That's what happened. And I still remember that. And when I went to the basic training, right, and I kind of knew that they were going to try to break me because I'm transitioning from a civilian life to more of a military life. And there is no room for error. When bullets are flying around, you see your comrade or battle buddy, we call it, dead right next to you, you don't want to panic, right? You want to be strong and shoot back at the enemy.
Yeah.
That's the kind of mindset they try to put you in. They try to break it. They come right in front of your face. And to thukko chita bani, you can feel it.
No.
Seriously. As soon as you get on the bus and there, drill sergeant will come in, start yelling at everyone. You get panic. And I was very calm because I watched the survival the card. It's a mind game. I have to be tough. They're gonna tell me to do like 100 things. I'm just gonna do it. Because my goal was to finish my basic training, get to my another training, they call it AIT, and then do that. Basic training was very interesting. In a lot of, since they tried to break it, right? 2 a.m. in the morning, 12 a.m. in the morning, they will coming in and start banging on the door and the bed, wake you up, line everyone up, right? You're sleep deprived. Again, they come back after a couple of hours. Few days, few weeks were like so ruthless, but I always had that, thinking, what, it's just gonna pass. A few more weeks. I'm just gonna push through it.
When you basic training चाहिँ जसले join गरे पनि गर्नै पर्छ.
You have to go through.
जुन डिपार्टमेन्टमा गए पनि त्यो basic training.
Whether you're an officer, whether you're an enlisted, whether you're like different kind of role, you have to go through it.
अनि त्यहाँबाट
Yeah, 10 weeks, right? So first couple of weeks they try to break you. They try to like make you organize. We call it like canteen or something, chow hall. You have to line up very close to each other. You can be doing some shenanigans there, right? And once you get into the order, they start teaching you some marching exercises. And the second phase, they start teaching you some weaponry, shooting the bullet, grenade stuff, rock marches.
Hey, wow.
Everyday exercise, wake up 4:30 a.m. in the morning, which I was not a big fan of it. Run 5 to 10 miles, depending on how good you are. I was decent good at PT, always maxing out. Like I mentioned, right, all these things comes naturally. When you set a goal, my goal, right, is expedited citizenship, because students don't get it. I get to work on a cool Apache helicopter. This is what I really wanted to do. That's why I joined it voluntarily. No one forced me. And I was really motivated to do everything that they were telling me to do. And like I mentioned, all the struggle, now I forget a lot of those things. But it was a big challenge. Everyone goes through it. It's a big challenge. Luckily, I went through it. Yeah, very fortunate.
So the question I have is, your motivation को बारे कुरा गर्दै थियौ नि हामीले, positive, negative.
Yep.
So I guess this question would tie over there as well. So how did the whole experience, because it's so different, change you as a person?
A lot, to be honest. A lot of the character that I have today is, I think, attributed to that experience that I had, and the principle and the values that I was mentioning, right? In the military, there's a values called LDRSHIP, which is leadership in short form. L stands for loyalty, D stands for duty, R stands for respect, S stands for selfless service, H stands for honor, I stand for integrity, which is the highest for me. P stands for personal courage. Personal courage of taking a risk, even though you don't know the outcome, you go and try to do it. So all those values are still with me and try to replicate as much as possible. Again, I'm a human, I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to try to evaluate every situation based on those principles and values. And that has really shaped me who I am today.
Wow.
And like I mentioned, right, I didn't get to learn those things during my early phase of my military, but as I went through the training, drill sergeants started molding us from civilian to more military mindset, caring about your battle buddy, caring about the country, the principles, and all the things, right? Even though something is wrong, I know killing people is never right, right? But you're doing for the country. You're not doing it blindly. There's definitely some level of understanding you have to have. I don't want to get into more politics and stuff, but that kind of like guided me. I use that as a guided principle for me to live my day-to-day life. And oftentimes I do mistake when evaluating the situation. but like I mentioned, right, try to like follow that, apply that as much as possible, and that's been the learning that I have from the military career.
Wow. Wow, I'm so inspired right now.
I mean, I know a lot of people do it, and that's it. Yeah.
So मिलिट्रीको सकिसकेपछि यो चाहिँ कति गर्नुभयो तपाईँले 3 वर्ष?
Yes, I did it 3 years. I did have an option to continue, but I was like in the process of applying for a officer school.
Which is
I was enlisted, which is like in Nepal, I think Havaldar side or more like an officer side, right? Inspector, they call it.
right.
We're not allowed to be an officer because we're not a US citizen that time. And I applied for Green to Gold program here in Northeastern and also in Wentworth, right? And the reasoning that was given to me as a MAVNI or international student, you're not eligible to do it, even though I was a US citizen. And I felt like, you know, even though I'm a citizen, I've been treated like a second-class citizen because I was not given the opportunity to do what other people can do. And that was a moment, you know what, maybe I should get out of the military and then pursue civilian life. And don't take me wrong, but I'm very thankful and grateful for all the experience. If I have to do it again, I'll go and do it. I encourage everyone to do it. Again, be mindful of the field that you pick because military is one of the largest employer. US military is the largest employer in the world.
Wow.
They have doctors, they have scientists, physicists, you name it. It's not just about carrying weapon, killing people. It's about being pilot, doctor, physicist, nuclear scientist, you name it, all those things,
Every
right?
job,
Technician, aviation, everything. So if you really want to like head start your career, you want to get paid, you want to get education, free education, which I use extensively to finish my remaining college, and you also want to have some sort of experience before you finish your education, before you know everything, and you want to get into a field. That's the place you can definitely consider, and you're not going to have any loans. It's hard because a lot of people don't want to join it because you don't want to listen to someone else orders, right? Freedom, different amendments, different constitution actually teaches you that, but it really helped me to be disciplined not only like treating others with respect and dignity, but rather also have some sort of physical fitness, sticking with like decision making process by applying those values that I just mentioned. So yeah, so many aspects. Like I mentioned, very fortunate, grateful for all the experience that I had.
Long story short, the experience was worth it.
Yes.
Ani त्यहाँबाट now you've chosen to come back to the civilian life, right?
Yes.
So त्यहाँको कथा सुन्नु न त अब.
So yeah, I didn't really talk about a lot of family stuff. Probably we can skip that. Yeah. So I came back. I left the military. Now I had to go back to the college, right? I have to pick one. And being a veteran, I had that GI Bill or post 9/11 bill that will basically pay for my colleges and also give me some stipend because I didn't have a job and all that. So I joined UMass Boston to pursue or continue my computer science because I was evaluating all of my credits. I need to transfer them. I don't want to spend too long to continue to finish my college, right? Whatever it is worth it, that's going to take me the most number of credits. I'll go there. And UMass Boston was one place. And I went there, military paid for my college. They, in fact, give me more extra money to pay for my the apartment and the board, the food and everything as a stipend. And on top of that, I applied for FAFSA, Pell Grant. So I was actually paid more money to go to college.
Wow.
Because I was using everything. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? All these programs that were presented to you, you definitely need to be smart about using every bit of things. It's not wrong. You're optimizing your options. I applied for a scholarship. I got that too. Some foundation was giving a scholarship to veterans who want to come back to college. And then, and did my computer science, finished it. And while I was pursuing that computer science, the classmate I helped actually worked at Wayfair. And I applied to Wayfair like multiple times. Every time recruiter rejected my application. But once he referred me, I got the job. I was very surprised. And I was like, I don't know why. It's a luck because I'm not a lucky person. I had to work for it. I had to work very hard for it. And it worked out in my favor. They liked my military background, or they liked the way I conducted during my interview. Even though I didn't know a lot of things, I was very honest about I didn't know it, but I can always come back. I can learn about it. And that's where I did full-time school and full-time work, all my undergrad and my master's,
2017.
2016 onwards until 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
So also Wayfair 9 years जति काम गर्नुभयो,
Yes.
right? So I knew that you worked at Wayfair for 9 years, but I didn't know that's how you entered into Wayfair.
Yeah.
So I guess podcasting really, this is crazy. But anyway, so you got into Wayfair. What was like the biggest difference from when you were in the army and doing all that stuff compared to now that you're in a corporate setting?
Yeah, I guess a lot of difference. You listen to orders in the military, you don't listen to orders. Managers and all that, they recommend, they tell you, we need to do this in a very polite way. It's not like an order, but more like small nudge, polite nudge, I would say. Very fortunate, my first manager, very supportive because I had no idea how to work in a corporate environment. Just out of military, right? I kind of like lost touch of the technology, how to work in a team dynamics. Very, I guess rude in a sense when it comes to communication, because that's how you're treated in the military by drill sergeant, your superior officers and all that. Big difference. Along the line, I had so many awesome teammates. A lot of the folks from India. I had one guy from Nepal too.
Wayfair, Mike?
Yes, who really helped me to get me started. And luckily, I was learning quickly. I was delivering results. That also motivated me. I learned more and more. And as I was going to school doing computer science, software engineering, very traditional environment that didn't really focus on optimizing the processes and offerings within the team to reduce like some of the bottlenecks by leveraging technology. So I actually brought that into the team.
Wow.
And it was a new thing for the team, right? Very traditional way, operational centric, putting up fires, because company was still going through the startup mode and growing very rapidly. But the people with the skill set were not growing at that pace. And when you have very long tenured employees, you don't get that level of innovation unless you are exploring out and trying to push yourself out of that comfort zone. And I was bringing that, introducing that to the team. And my manager was very impressed. And I got promoted pretty quickly, actually, starting from level 0.
So, हजुरको त्यति बेलाको role चाहिँ के थियो रे? फर्स्टमा Wayfairमा?
I was like joined as an intern because I was still going to college. And they later on, I was not making good money. I don't know if it's relevant to put that number out, but not good money. It was an internship. A director came in. He realized that I was delivering just like any other full-timers or more. And he converted me to the contractors with a higher pay. And I was shocked to see my salary jump from 1x to like 20x.
Wow. And what was your role at that time?
My title was database administrator, but acted as more like a software engineer in that field, as a platform engineer. And salary bump. And when I finished my school, now I had to take on a permanent role. And they actually bumped my role from level 0 to level 3. So 3 jumps all at once. Wow. And again, you have to be lucky, right? You have to have folks who are supporting you. They see a value at the work that you're actually delivering. Because no one wants to pay more money to anyone, right? And when I realized, I was a manager at one point. It's not my money, it's the company money. Yes, I have been entrusted to spend it wisely, but I'm going to value more for the output that someone is going to provide to improve the processes of the team so that we are not burned out and we're also helping the company to generate more revenue. So merit-based compensation model, and very flexible in terms of providing visa sponsorship during my tenure as a manager. Pretty flexible. I was, open to advocating my employees to my director, even though it's not a normal thing. Talking to director or VP at that point, being a very low-level manager was not a normal thing, but I would go, against a chain to advocate for the people, because they are the one who are delivering results for me as a manager, right? They are the one who are making me look good in front of my managers, my leaders. So I'm going to do anything in my power to advocate for them, whether it's a raise, sponsorship, whatever needed. But yeah, that's the trajectory. Got converted, level 3, and then again level 4, level 5, whatever the different levels that I get into. Managerial role, didn't like it. Liked it, but I felt like I was being very harsh on people. I was trying to hold the same standard that I had on everyone, and that's not how you manage people.
Really?
So
wait, let's actually talk about this, because I think let's talk about this. I
Sure.
want to know, because you when I started NSA, अनि त्यो कहिले काहीँ हुन्छ नि भर्खर भर्खर गर्दाखेरि मेरो 2-3 जना साथीहरू पनि त्यही भनेको थियो, लाइक लाइक एकदम ओसिडी छ, or like no, you're यस्तो यस्तो. So I want to learn about your managing styles and also experience.
So at that point, I had no experience about managing. I was just a star employee, and they ended up putting me as a manager. And I think that was a wrong thing to do. My output went down because now I have to manage people, right? As a mentor, there's a clear difference between coaching and mentorship, right? And instead, I was basically trying to uphold the same level of standard of high output like I did. Because of that, I got promoted on everyone, and everyone is different, right? Everyone, their process of learning and delivering is different. You cannot have the same level of standard. Zero on empathy.
Yeah.
Right? And so many mistakes that I did, now I'm realizing it and being very open-minded. But yeah, on a high level, I felt that I made so many people uncomfortable when I was a manager, because I was holding the bar very high. My feedback, giving feedback, not being empathetic about the situation. I'll give an example. Some people had a cat died, or they have to euthanize or something like that. I don't have pet, right? I don't have experience how to react to that news. Very normal military guy, very tough guy, and a lot of people didn't like that attitude, because they are in pain, and I should be sharing that pain with them. As some people have issues, the long-term relationship that was also impacting their work-life balance, and myself being alone during that time was not technically not alone. All my family members were here during the time, but not really family-centric. I didn't realize that all those things were not helping me to be a good manager or good people person, right? I was definitely a go-to person when it comes to solving problems, but I was not a go-to person when it comes to sharing your feelings, providing good constructive feedback, or taking in feedback, and always focus on the output and the delivery.
Right. So I guess on the flip side, what are the traits for a good manager this way?
I think good managers are typically, right, every company has a different definition of management.
But also realize what with you after going through the whole transition phase.
Yeah. I think manager role is to empower people, provide opportunity, groom them, and giving them the opportunity where they can excel, what they want, what they have interest on. You can do that. You cannot do that all the time. However, you have to find a balance. Let's say you have a business priority or your company priorities, right? You also have some expectation from the employees that this is the career track that I want to go in. And oftentimes your role and the career track, they don't align. So you have to find, that's the hardest part, right? That's why I don't enjoy the management role that much. Now, if I have to realize it, you can always find an opportunity. And actually, I have tried to apply that in so many other things that we can talk about. So out of 100%, you can definitely find 20 to 30% of your time to help motivate and promote that employee interest. That is also aligned to the company direction, because those employees are always like fascinated by different kind of technology, all that, and giving them some data points and power of persuasion, right? Why it is important. Because oftentimes the culture we come from, right? Either you become a doctor or engineer. So many people are similar things here too. And many people actually I work for, or they work for me, are from India or Nepal. Some folks are from here, which has a completely different perspective about life and career. So you have to balance that out. So balancing what their interests are and also trying to tie that with the business impact. And the finding opportunities, advocating for it, and then setting the clear set of expectation, right? These are the delivery cadences, because business is not going to wait for anyone. They're going to chop people when you're not able to deliver, and identifying when they're struggling and lending them a hand, either yourself or someone else who can help them.
I see. Because won't you? I don't know if you felt this. That do you have that feeling where you go, "Hey, what if you're empowering them, but then maybe the output you're expecting isn't like that, you know?" And then, well, you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, about you want them to do something that it's what if like 80 I know when he on
That has happened so many times, right? Humans are not perfect.
yeah.
We learn from it, and at the same time, right? Do I want to value the output and delivery, or do I want to value a human being who is a living being, right? And they have a limited capacity, they have their ability and all that. No one wants to do a bad job, right? When it comes to their task, right? Everyone is trying to do their best. It's just that they don't know how to do it. That's where the leaders, the managers, good managers come in handy. Since I was not a good manager at that time, I didn't know what the good management looked like. There were so many employees couldn't deliver based on my expectation. That kind of like burned me out, because I was joining the Gordon school again, a lot of
Doing a lot of
workload.
things.
I was also managing a very fast-paced environment. I had like almost 12, 15 plus employees under me in a very operational environment, always setting a fire and all that. I couldn't even think about some innovative way to reduce that down. And a lot of people are very already burned out with so many issues, right? And I couldn't motivate them to reduce that burden on them. And one of the employees actually resigned. And he didn't say, I mean, not because of me, but he said that I feel like I'm a failure because I'm not able to deliver things as per my manager expectation, as per my team expectation, as my company expectation. And it is really negatively impacting my personal life. And do I want to be that manager that's going to impact someone's personal life? I definitely don't want to be that person. Work is work. It's not your life.
Right.
It's not your family. You can always change your work and still be happy. The most important thing is you need to enjoy what you're doing. If you don't enjoy it, I'm going to leave that job. That's one of the reasons I actually, right? But, and I feel like I'm not in a position to make a decision on behalf of someone else without influencing that.
Wow. Literally the key takeaways for me, your conversation order, because I was thinking about this for a while as well, is to be a good leader, you can't have the same level of high expectations that you have on yourself. On your second Mazi, to really scale and not burn yourself out, empowering and being there when they need it is how you be a good leader.
And give them an opportunity to fail too, right? Failure is the way. When you win something, you don't really realize all the weaknesses, small things to improve on. When you lose, that's where you do go through the self-reflection process. What did I miss? What should I have done? Any missing on the skill set, communication, collaboration, anything like that? You start to see that thing and you try not to replicate it. So purposely giving them something that they will probably going to fail, not intentionally. If they succeed, great. But they have to be able to learn that, be humble, right? Accept failure. And like I mentioned, right, delivery is not the key, like important thing. Working at Wayfair, so many roadmaps, we hardly deliver anything based on the timeline that we have set, right? We always figured out a way to trim down the requirements, the roadmap and all that, because there is no such thing called perfection, right? Nothing is 100%. There's always something to work on. But the key thing is continue to learn, continue to motivate people. You have to be enjoying the work that you're doing. You have to find a meaning whatever you're doing. And that's the role, I guess. Again, I cannot really speak for the management. That's how I try to treat as a staff engineer or technical lead, because a lot of the technical delivery is on me for the team, coaching or mentorship, and making sure that a lot of the technical learning that people want to have as a leader is being taught, or then give them opportunity to grow, and all that things also comes to me. And that's how I've been operating, and still there's so many things to learn.
Wow. So I don't know viewers or like how helpful that's gonna be, but for me right now that was super helpful.
I'm learning a great deal here too. So yeah.
So I guess like about saying, I don't know how long we've been talking for, but it's probably more than an hour.
Sure.
So we're closing more towards the end of the podcast.
Okay.
So to wrap up, at least I'll just go 9 years of Wayfair experience. What has been the proudest moment for you in that 9 years long professional journey at Wayfair? The most challenging?
Yeah, I think the proudest one, right? I mean, when people acknowledge you, and I'm not a big fan of like acknowledgement, to be honest, right? I try not to get credit, because a lot of the things that I have been able to deliver is because of my teammates, my managers, leaders providing me the opportunity. Yes, I did some work, I did my part, but I don't like taking credit, because everything is like connected to each other. And the proudest moment, like I mentioned, right?
How was it?
My manager offered me a level that I was not expecting. I was, given a salary package that I was not expecting, because I never made that level of money before, whether in the military career or before my student time. And then continue to evolve that, and getting to a point where the leaders are still trusting me as a trusted partner on so many critical decision making and high value target roadmaps that the company wants to carry on. Those sort of things, right? The professional side. On the family and societal side, there is so many other things. I didn't really talk about some of the cricketing teams that we have created and how I'm applying some of the leadership skills that I have learned over the years in there, which is a completely different environment, different audience, different people, different motivational factor. Proudest moment, that level of acknowledgement, even though I don't like it, but translating that into more pay, more higher position and all that. Most importantly, learning opportunity for me, because it comes with a more responsibility, decision-making power, opportunity to grow over time. The challenging one, certainly, there's so many challenging one, but as I'm like spending more time, losing friends like through layoffs and all that is becoming a norm for me. But if I have to go back in my career, I guess I took down the entire Wayfair production environment that has millions of dollars of implications. And that was a breaking point for me. I thought I'm probably going to get fired. And that's when I learned how to be humble, accept your mistakes. It was very challenging. I didn't really sleep for 5 days, maybe like because I contributed to the loss of a company in millions of dollars. Probably never going to make that level of money, right?
Wait, how did that happen?
Some like mistakes, normal mistakes, because a database side of things, right? Data, all the application services, they connect to data. Whether your customer data, order, or whatever, depending on what kind of company it is, if that goes down, a lot of things goes down. People are not able to place orders. They're not able to fulfill their orders. They cannot browse the website. There are a bunch of things happen, right? And depending on the rate at which the revenue rate is, at that point, I think hourly rate was probably $5 to $6 million. And I took down the environment for like maybe a couple of hours. And the good thing was, yeah, I was open, I communicated, and the manager was very receptive. If my manager was very strict, it could have ended my career, and my direction could have been a completely different direction, right? Because I could be taking that, in my entire life as one of the biggest failure of my career, but it turned out to be more of a learning lesson for me. That's why I mentioned, right, the leadership aspect. You want to let your people to fail, learn from it. If you continue to repeat that again and again, that's a problem. But once I failed, I was more matured when it comes to decision making, collaborating with my stakeholders, and be able to make informed decisions, and looking at the data points, whatever needed. And that was the challenging aspect of my career so far.
So for all the viewers, if there's students, younger professionals that might want to take a similar route to where you are, if there's one piece of advice or a couple pieces of advice you'd want to give, what would it be?
Yeah, I know I didn't really talk about a lot of the struggle days, but always be hungry, right? I know we had a similar session in MIT. Right? A lot of people talk about similar kind of question, right? Having a mentor does help. Reach out to so many people. There are so many professionals. Doesn't have to be from Nepal. It can be anyone who are willing to mentor you and help you along the line, because there are so many, like I mentioned, it's not about just a book, being a book smart. Understanding the different skill sets, soft skill, networking, so many things, right? And always find something to work on. When I was working for a restaurant, open table was a thing where you used to use the reservation. It was down for 2 to 3 days. We couldn't use it. You know what? I'm working for a restaurant, but I'm also a computer science student. Maybe I can build something similar. I built it. Spent my entire weekend trying to build it. And we didn't have a lot of reference during that time. Built it, put in a computer. We used it. Wasn't great, but I saw there is a real need for a software or tool. So whatever field you are in, and try to solve a real world problem, right? Find a mentor, find something that you want to solve in the real world, and then work towards it. Create a pet project or whatever, because when you go through the job hunting process, those things does matter, because you're not just working on a college academic project. You're working on something that is actually solving a real world problem, right? And I think I also gave a reference of one of the guy during COVID time who built a website to keep track of COVID death in a different state.
Oh yeah. Let's actually talk about that too, Bonusno.
So it's just one of the example, right? And there's so many examples. Even if you Google it, you're going to find a lot of examples. But that thing is very powerful, because 16 years, I think it's a high school kid or something. And maybe their parents actually helped them, right? And it's a classic example of finding something that you love and figuring out a way to solve a problem that people are willing to use it. COVID was a big thing. A lot of people are dying. Everyone's scared. And infected rate and the death rate, no one knew, right? I didn't get out of the house so many months. So many did that. But in reality, infected rate plus the death toll was completely different. I think out of 10 million infected, I think 500,000 to 600,000 people were passed away. At the same time, further drilling down on the data, elderly people or pre-existing conditions were the most, right? That kid actually built a website to keep track of that data, and actually empowered people to understand what it is, right? And then people started to realize, you know what, I can still go out. I don't have to constrain myself to the home. Still go out for the grocery, be careful, wear a mask and all that. And I think he made millions of dollars just by doing that. So he utilized his passion for solving a real world problem that people are willing to use it, and he made the money.
Wow.
So pick a project, right, that is related to your field, find a mentor and work towards it, and see whether you're solving a real world problem or not.
If we were to flip the script and you could do one thing differently, not a regret, but just one thing that you wished you could do differently, what would it be?
One thing differently. I don't have any regrets, to be honest with you, because
Yeah, so not a regret, but just something that you wish. Maybe a story with it would have been nice.
let me see.
Loaded question.
Very hard question, to be honest, because I always try to find a positive things in whatever I did, whether I made a mistake or not. And I want to make sure that so many mistakes being made. I think one thing I have to admit, um, very focused on career, very focused on other things, right? My contribution, like आफ्नो लागि सबैले गर्छ, right? मेरो लागि मैले गर्छु, पैसा कमाउँछु, मेरो इच्छा पुरा गर्छु. I like technology stuff, like iPhone किन्छु, laptop, whatever, right? घुम्न जान्छु. But at the same time, I should also be doing things for others. That's one of the reasons I joined some community organization, right? And when I started to do that, and I wished I had done that earlier, because my dad did it, I wanted to do it, but I was so focused on my own thing that I never thought about it. But if I have to go back, while I was still working on my own personal life, I could have also contributed more into society and also my family life. I tried to left my family in autopilot mode. I've been called emotionless, having no sense of humor, and not having, I guess, good attention to my family members because I didn't know how to do it. Maybe my military life actually made me more tougher guy. But if I had to change something, more contribution to the society, more people impacting the wider, like you are doing, right? You're helping so many people out there, so many students, inviting people, sharing their journey, or even connecting them, different job opportunity, or even finding them the mentors, right? I'm open to mentorship. If it's going to help someone, I definitely do it. So you're impacting wider audience, right? Not just yourself. And you're finding pride and satisfaction doing that. And I should have done that earlier in my career.
Ranjan Dahal, oh my god. I'm getting a little emotional. Taro, we're gonna put your LinkedIn in the bio as well, just in case anyone wants to connect with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as well. So that's a wrap.
Sure.
Ranjan Dahal, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Taro, you said we're trying to make this a ritual. Last one's a rapid fire round.
Okay, quick.
I'm gonna ask you like 4 or 5 questions. Ani jab answer diya later. So first question: best Nepali restaurant in Boston?
I have to go with Jamsa because my friend. But yeah, they have a good food. Yeah.
One thing you miss the most about Nepal?
I guess my friends, all the good times I spent with them. I don't think I'm gonna get those time back.
Wow.
Yeah.
One Nepali food you love, but it's hard to find in the US.
I guess Sadeko Gundruk. I know now restaurant has it, but I haven't found that good that my mom used to make because you literally make that at home, right? So probably Gundruk.
The authentic one.
Yeah.
Favorite Nepali festival to celebrate in the US?
In the US, to be honest, none, because I don't get that same level of feelings. I wish during the Dasai time we had some ping, right? The ping, swing, all that. I typically go to Nepal during the Dasai time. I always go and have fun in ping. Call it ping, right?
Yeah.
So we wish like at one point we can actually make that happen here. For so many kids out there who have used it like in experiences during their childhood. Yes, so that's the thing I love doing it. And I guess playing cards with friends is another. I'm not a big gambler or I don't play cards, but when it comes to spending time with friends, cards is another thing that I like.
Dasai.
Yes.
If your friends or family ever visited you in Boston, what's the first place you would take them to?
I guess everyone's classic, the Harvard with that toe thing, right? You go and rub it. I still don't know, like, is that still true or not? But everyone fantasized Harvard and all that thing. But yeah, I guess
Harvard.
Yeah.
Okay, last 2 questions. Is Oily best Nepali song at the moment?
At the moment, I have not been keeping up with the new things. I feel like I guess I call myself millennial or something. But if I have to pick a song, a 1974-80, Hetauda Vanni song.
Hirda,
Yes.
yeah, that's a classic one too.
Yeah, but the recent one, I don't know, to be honest. I don't really listen to a lot of. I love Sufi music, more like heart touching one,
Yeah.
and yeah, I guess that's the one I have to pick it. Sorry, I don't know the recent song. I apologize. A lot of good singers out there, but I'm not keeping myself up to date.
Last question. One Nepali word or phrase you would teach your non-Nepali friends
Namaskar.
besides namaste.
Okay. I guess, okay, hello Kecha is another similar version.
Yeah, that counts.
Okay,
Kecha.
Kecha is another
Kecha.
one, yeah, which is also similar to like Namaste, right? Yeah, Kecha is another simple one because a lot of people don't like complex word, right? I know a lot of people also try to teach them some other words. which are not good.
Swear words, but
Yeah,
we're not putting that in the camera today, guys.
we're in a very civilized, positive vibe, positive impact. But yeah, Kecha would be another simple because anyone can grab it. A lot of people can say it too.
Perfect, and that's a wrap. Ranjan Bhai, thank you so much for doing this. I hope it's going to inspire a bunch of viewers. So if you guys enjoyed this episode with Ranjan Dai, who shared his story and a bunch of insights on his professional journey and a lot about leadership, please
Like, comment, and subscribe.